Welcome to the Across the Bar podcast. I'm Peter Raybar.
And I'm Laura Brownstein. And there are a lot of crazy things going on today, as is normal for us to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, we thought it would just be a quiet summer day, and here we are with another not quiet summer day.
There is no such thing. No such thing. Okay, rundown, because we are getting better about going through our rundown. We are going to do, what do you do if your boss asks you to lie? Is AI woke? Would you inject Neuralink into your brain? And parting advice for summer interns. Peter, should we start with summer interns actually? Because I know telling interns telling interns how to optimize their summer and the people working with them is something near and dear to you.
Well, we have a lot of intern viewers of the podcast, so it's important to keep up the momentum.
Got to give the people what they want.
Yeah, and of course, our more senior viewers, I've gotten a lot of good feedback about how they pass along the podcast to interns. So this will probably be our last intern segment for this summer, given that internships are coming to an end soon. And for interns, just as it's important to make a good first impression, it's also really important to make a good last impression.
Ooh, well said.
Yeah, I think so. So you want to leave on a really positive note, even if you're in a situation where you're not receiving an offer or you're not sure if you're receiving an offer. What you want to do is really put yourself in the best light possible. So when people are making these decisions, they can remember that.
What does it look like to put yourself in the best light possible? What does that mean?
Well, I think it's important to either talk to or either send notes to people you work closely with and reiterate that it was a valuable experience, that you enjoyed working with them. And I certainly recommend including at least one thing you learned from them or one thing you enjoyed working with them on to personalize it.
One personal thing, or it actually is just a throwaway.
Right. And I would say that, you hope to have the opportunity to work with them again in the future, but you're not begging for a job or asking for one. You're just saying you love the place and it was a really valuable experience. And here's the takeaway you had.
Well, I want to make the point. There's only certain industries that you have any expectation of getting an offer at the end of your summer. If you are doing an internship at like CNN or a magazine or an ad agency, you're probably not, it doesn't work the same way. They're not like giving offers. What are you laughing at over there?
What am I laughing at? Well, I thought you were going to go in a different direction. I thought you were going to start talking about law firm internships and how they, there is an expectation that you would get.
Yeah, law firms and finance. Law and finance are two of the only ones that really do that, I think.
Right. Except if you start biting your colleagues, then you might not get
an offer. Oh my God, did you see that? Okay, so we like to give basic tips for internships. And, I think Peter just gave a great basic tip to, send a follow-up thank you note. Side note, I'm a big fan of that being via email, even though a card is nice. If you want them to be able to easily follow up with you, they need an easy email trail to do it. Make it easy for them to just hit reply at any time. But we didn't know something that we clearly were remiss in not spelling out, Peter. I actually think this is on us. You want to talk about what happened at Sidley? What's Sidley and what happened there this week?
What's Sidley? Sidley is a major international law firm based in Chicago, but offices all across the country. And every summer, all the major firms have pretty large classes of summer associates. These are rising third-year law students, so they just finished their second year. It's a very competitive process to get these internships. They get paid a lot of money. And then they basically show up and get wined and dined for a couple weeks.
How much of the class is the law firm typically hoping to make offers to?
Well, when I was there a long time ago, it was 100%, but now it's a decreasing percentage and it's a little more competitive. But one of the key rules that everyone knows is it's on you as a summer associate not to screw it up. I mean, that's the most important thing. Like, it's pretty hard to screw up these internships. And there was a summer associate at Sidley. We don't know who it is, but they got kicked out of the program, which is pretty rare, for biting their colleagues repeatedly.
Go back. Okay, wait. One more time. Did they get let go because of mismanagement of documents or mishandling of clients in some way or a lack of aptitude for the law?
They got let go because they were biting their colleagues. And so maybe they bit a client too. I don't know.
What? And this, to be clear, is not in a like, oh, she ate that kind of way. This is like,
I think it,
people
from
had
what
teeth
I've read,
marks.
like nibbling,
What?
playful nibbles.
People had teeth marks though. So
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not something skill you need to have as a lawyer. You shouldn't be biting your colleagues or your adversaries.
your brilliant oratory should be biting, but not literally.
That's right.
Biting. Okay, so kids, don't bite people at work. I
Don't
didn't
bite
know we
people
had
at
to
work.
say it, but here you go.
Yeah. I mean, we should have said it earlier, but here we are.
Here we are. You know, you live and learn. We're new at podcasting. We didn't know.
Right.
We didn't
Exactly. Newbies.
Okay. So in the news recently, there's a lot of lack of clarity as to what Pam Bondi knows, knew, told President Trump, had on her desk, etc., about the Jeffrey Epstein files. One even has to wonder, given the fact that it just came out that she did tell President Trump he was mentioned in the files in February, according to recent findings, yet she said there was nothing to see in the files. So one has to wonder, apropos of nothing, what do you do if your boss asks you to lie for them? Peter, and I'm not saying that's what happened here, but just wonder.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard a lot of crazy stories around this Epstein list, whatever it may be. We've also heard related stories in the DOJ's efforts to, capture and deport Venezuelan immigrants, and specific. There's a DOJ whistleblower who claims he was told to lie, and I've had a lot of friends and colleagues ask me, what could happen to these attorneys to flip them over and make them lie to courts and in filings, et cetera. And my rule and what I talk about with clients, and I've talked about it with two separate people this week, is that you should never put your career on the line like that. It's just not worth it. And especially if you're a lawyer, if someone's asking you to lie about something or file something that's not true, that could potentially ruin your whole career. Is any job worth that? I don't think so.
I think it's not black and white, and that's what makes it hard. There's little versions of this every day. Like, how many times have you gone to a meeting with a dinner with a client and been like, I'm so happy to be here? No, you're not. But so there's the lies that we tell to be humans and pleasant.
Right.
People who don't bite our colleagues. And then there are the lies that are substantive. And I think people don't know where that line is.
Right. Well, you really have to know what the big bad lies are. And those are ones that could potentially implicate laws and licensing requirements or regulatory requirements.
An entertainment editor and reporter. I said a lot of celebrities were lovely. Not lovely whatsoever. Like, not lovely.
Right.
Hungry, not eating enough, angry little actresses that I definitely was like, God, she's just, she's the greatest girl in the world. When you think of somebody that you would like to hang out with all day, it really is.
Right. But at the same time, you wouldn't include something that could lead to a claim of defamation from one of these celebrities, right?
Correct.
So, it's one thing to say that they're nice people when maybe they're not, or that they were chipper when maybe they weren't. Mm-hmm. But it's another thing to make up things about them to make you look good, right? And make up facts in articles or things like that. But, coming at it from the legal profession, including alleged facts in a brief that are not true, or making representations to a judge that are not true, those are things that or submitting documents to the SEC or another regulatory body, those are things that could kill your career.
Is that something you can put in a contract, an employment contract? Like, if I'm ever asked to falsify something, I won't? Or is that understood?
No, I mean, it's funny. It's always done the reverse. I mean, if you have a cause definition in a contract, it's definitely going to include that you'd be fired for cause immediately if you did something illegal or against a regulatory requirement, et cetera. Now, could you point that out for the person who's asking you to do it? Sure. In some cases, could you make an argument that that's violating the company's commitments to you? Mm-hmm. You could try that.
You're probably just going to get fired.
You might get fired. And there are laws that protect you if you're making a report of someone engaging in illegal activity or
less laws than there used to be. OSHA today, did you see this? Just did
yes.
away with many, many employee protections. Most of them are for not for skilled jobs, the protections. Most of them are like, things like paying the people that take care of our loved ones. Why would you want to do that? Environmental protection, like real safety protections. And, the neat White House just got rid of them. Did you see that?
Yeah, what a shocker. Claiming that laws that protect the workers who have the least amount of bargaining power or leverage to protect themselves and fight for their wages are, quote, obsolete. I'm really shocked to see that from this administration.
That's going to get challenged, right? All the unions will challenge it, won't they?
Well, they'll try. I don't think they'll be that successful. And some of these laws are not obsolete. I mean, how can a law that guarantees a minimum wage to a home healthcare worker be, quote, obsolete? If you don't like it, just say you don't like it, but it's not obsolete. These are people who, have no bargaining power really to fight for higher wages. So it's a real shame.
Well, I think they're saying that because many of them are not citizens. And so they're saying like any protections are obsolete.
Right. And that's basically the opposite of what government's supposed to be doing, which is to be working for all citizens, not just the wealthy ones, and not targeting lower income citizens. And a lot of these rules are designed to protect them. And, if you're wealthy and you think society's just going to work by passing laws that protect you or eliminating rules that you don't like, well, you have another thing coming to you. Systems will start breaking down when your parents need, healthcare workers to take care of them. They're not going to be there. When you need renovations to your house, you're going to have to wait twice as long. I mean, we could go down the list, but most of all, it's just not a decent thing to do. It's not what this country used to stand for.
Cruelty is the point.
Yeah. Yeah. And we haven't even gotten into building, 100,000 bed immigration centers or, 5,000 bed immigration centers or whatever. I mean, it's really, if you put the pieces together, it's not a good picture.
No. Well, another interesting thing that happened this week today, actually, is that the Trump administration is putting out warnings, I think it is, about the fact that AI is too woke and liberal. Was it a warning or what was it?
No, it was a big, beautiful executive order.
I mean, everyone remembers that it was only last week or 2 weeks ago that Grok realized it was fascist and started basically like
pretty not woke
out loud. What?
It was pretty not woke.
Not woke. No. And I will say from my own use of ChatGPT, not woke. So, right. I mean, is this just another case of Trump like making wokeness the boogeyman?
Of course. It's ridiculous.
It's like if nothing comes out about Epstein soon, he's totally going to tell us where the aliens are. Like he's just like throwing everything at the wall to try to distract people.
Right. Let's throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. This one's pretty funny. I mean, ending woke AI. I mean, AI is definitely not woke. I guess they cited a couple pictures of historical figures that had the wrong skin color as this like national disaster that they needed to address. And basically any contract that you do with the government for an LLM has to have a certification that it doesn't contain DEI. And there is a DEI definition very specific to AI now.
Really? What does it say?
Oh, it's disgusting. I mean, it's just like a rewriting of history, basically. And it's kind of funny. I mean, it's definitely sad, okay? But it's also kind of funny to see the tech bro section of this administration, which doesn't want any rules, doesn't want any regulation, doesn't want to be told who they could sell their chips to or who they could sell their LLMs to, versus the far right MAGA anti-woke led by the bald devil cracking down on woke everywhere. And frankly, I think people are tired of it. They're just tired of it.
Peter Thiel, I'm so sorry for your loss today about Hulk Hogan. May his memory be a blessing to you, Peter Thiel.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, probably a lot of people don't know what you're talking about, but Peter Thiel used Hulk Hogan to kill Gawker, funded the lawsuit that basically brought down Gawker through Hulk Hogan. And Hulk Hogan's become a hero to the right.
Gawker, but just, I think we can all understand that billionaires shutting down news sites because they don't like what they say.
I mean, if I was just thinking about it when I was reading about it, the Hulk Hogan earlier. You could view it as sort of the beginning of this,
Yeah, I think you're right,
billionaire movement to kill media stories and outlets they don't like.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. Is it Teal or Thiel? Teal, right? Teal. Okay, Peter Teal. Okay, then my favorite crazy story is Elon Musk saying he is going hard on Neuralink, which is a thing that actually gets injected into your brain and can link you with the machines. What's your first impression on this?
I mean, I certainly wouldn't entrust Elon Musk with a spot in my brain, but
20,000 implants a year is what they say
right.
He's aiming for.
Right. I mean, there's a couple different purposes that are stated. There's a medical purpose or one or two different medical purposes, but also just a general purpose. And I can't imagine I would ever do something like this without a real serious medical condition, which I hope I never have.
This could help with the spinal cord injury. Like anything is worth trying, or your Parkinson's or something like that. Anything would be worth trying. But just to be able to like interface better with your gaming console or something.
Right. Or have a deeper connection to Elon Musk.
Or your AI lover.
Do you have an AI lover?
No, I have some very helpful AI assistants working that pull me news briefings every day. But
are they woke?
No. Well, they are not looking at the world through an angry male gaze. I will say that, because we have changed certain baseline settings actually in the way I work with ChatGPT. Like I have it trained that I like it to only use information that comes from actual data sources. And anytime it tells me something, it has to have the source next to it. So I can see if it's a legitimate source, which is not common practice. It just, that's how the making shit up happens.
It's great. So you have some rules. You should sign like an executive order, just documenting everything.
Like Across the Bar, the podcast's executive.
Right. We should do Across the Bar executive orders.
Who would they be for? Like my cat and our intern?
Yeah, our viewers,
sure.
Our friends of the pod and others.
All right, let's do our heroes and zeros on that note. Who's your hero?
So who are your heroes this week?
Okay, so I have a really, really cheesy commercial sounding hero, but I'll explain it. Amazon just rolled out 2 new color Kindles. One of my other podcast is about romance novels. I love reading. And I use my Kindle all the time, but I hate that it's black and white. So I'm excited about this, having it be color, but also able to use it outside. But I'll tell you why I'm really interested in it. I wonder, there is currently a trend with romance novels, with like the big series that are selling all the books right now, to do commemorative covers. And there is a lot of money and marketing going into illustrations and commemorative covers and special like romantic-y cover things.
I know someone who's a really good book illustrator.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's in the White House. He says he doesn't know how to draw, but he's really good at it.
All right, I was rambling. I get it. He is a good doodler, but I do think it's interesting that as covers and the design of books is having more interest because of romance, that they just introduced 2 new color readers.
That's exciting. I'm going to wait until the Epstein birthday book comes out on Kindle, and I'm gonna buy the color Kindle for it.
How many times a day would you say you make an Epstein joke?
Yeah.
How many times a day?
Everyone else is consumed with it. Why can't we be consumed?
But how many times a day would you say you make an Epstein joke?
A lot more than I would really want to publicly admit to be honest.
Okay. Is he your hero? Who's your hero?
He's definitely not my hero. I have 2 heroes. Okay. One is personal and one is more general. The personal one is one of my closest friends in the world. Jim DiLorenzo is the head of global sports at Apple. Mm-hmm. And he's been on a campaign to work out against cancer. And he's put together a run of 200 straight days of working out. He's contributed $100 per day.
Wow.
To a cancer fund named after his wife, who fought a very brave battle against cancer. So I'd like to congratulate Jim on reaching 200 days.
And donate?
Yeah, we're going to put the link in to donate to the Robin DiLorenzo Cancer Fund.
Okay.
which is at Duke. And Jim is completing 200 straight days of working out. So that's pretty impressive. Of course, cynical me said you shouldn't work out for 200 straight days. You need to give your body some time to rest. But luckily, he decided not to listen to
Priorities,
me.
Peter.
Yeah, priorities.
Who's your other hero?
My other heroes are Matt Parker and Matt Stone and Trey Parker.
I haven't watched
the South Park
clip yet. I've heard it's amazing.
Oh my God. It came out last night. Everybody should watch it. It's incredible.
I will watch that.
That's all I'll say.
Okay. You're the second person that said that to me today. I got to watch it.
Yeah. Incredible. Who's your zero for this week? So many candidates.
What? It's still the OSHA protections, I think. And yeah, it's still the OSHA protections. I'm going to go with that. Like taking away protections from our most vulnerable workers. It's bad. It's bad.
Yeah, bad.
Sorry, it's a wrap, but.
So mine is the CEO of In-N-Out Burger, and it sort of breaks my heart to say it because I love In-N-Out Burger and I admire so many things about how they do business. But this week, she gave an interview explaining why the company's headquarters is moving from California and why she's moving from California to Tennessee, and just aired a bunch of grievances about California and blah, blah, blah. You know, this is not what people want to hear anymore. No one wants to hear a billionaire CEO and a billionaire, in this case, heiress, complaining about minimum wage laws in California. Like, give me a break. If you want to move to Tennessee for tax protections, just do it. Stop whining. It's ridiculous.
Was she like, it's godless in California?
Yeah, it's, all sorts of laundry list of complaints. And frankly, I think it just illustrates, like, people don't care about this stuff anymore. I think people are tired of it. And I think they really just, if you want to move,
I think the people you're talking to are tired of it.
I think there's a resistance forming to it. Let's see what happens. We like to keep people ahead of trends here. Okay. And I think you'll see more and more, search for the center.
All right.
At least I hope.
I like that. Let's see if that is actually true. But I'm still going to eat In-N-Out burgers, just so you know.
Yes, I will still eat In-N-Out burgers. Animal style, double animal style. What's your order?
I like a bun. Basic.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. This was fun. The world is wacky. Everyone stay safe out there. Don't inject things into your brain. Appreciate the good work done by Sadie Raybar working on this episode, and talk soon.
Yeah, and also shout out to our good friend Clifford Lane, who created some music for our pod, which we debuted last week, and you can hear at the beginning and end of each episode. So thank you, Clifford.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend.